So that was just finding API endpoints. So you can find something to attack. Now we're going to use Postman with Burp, and this begins to introduce, if you haven't used it, the tool Postman is the main tool you use to attack APIs, just like Burp is, and the best thing is to use both of them together, which is what we're going to do. So this is AP 101, and so the first thing, of course, is make sure you're connected, which we already are, with the browser here, going to the login page. We don't need the developer tools anymore. All right. Now that we're connected, we signed up for an account already. And then we're going to view the sign up request, which we did earlier in Burp. So you go to Burp, and we did a sign up. Yeah, post identity auth API sign up. Okay, so this is the request that creates a user account. So let me scroll this up so we can see it. All right, there it is. It's a post request going to this server. It has a bunch of header fields that don't really matter. One that does matter, however, is content type right here. You have to say content type JSON. And the JSON is down here. This is JavaScript object notation. It's just a way of formatting data where you have curly braces enclosing it, and then you have name colon value, comma, name colon value. That's called JSON, JavaScript object notation. So that's what you have. And in there are all the things you put in the form: name, email, phone number, and password. So that is the request that you want to send. Now, we'll get Postman. Postman you just download like Burp. It's free. It runs on every platform. And let me start here. I'm going to make a new collection. Not that. I'm just going to make a new tab. That's what I'm going to do. There's tabs up here just like a browser. So I'm going to make a new tab. There we are. Now I can make a request. And what you do is you build a request here in Postman. So we want this request to match what we saw in Burp. So let me shove them aside so they both fit on the screen at the same time. All right, so you build your request here. We're trying to make a post to this URL. So you change get to post. Now you need the whole URL here, and that's just part of it. So you right-click in Burp and copy URL. And now you paste that in here. And now it gives you the whole URL with the name of the server and the API auth signup. Now we have to get this data in there. And you do that by going over to the body tab here. And now you have to choose the type of data in there. And this is raw. And there's a subtype, which is JSON. That's how you put in JSON data. And now you put in this data. Just copy it and paste it. And it's all in one line, but there is a beautify button to make it look good like that. So this is how you make a JSON content, and the fact that you chose JSON here, it will automatically generate the necessary token. So the last thing is I want to send this to through Burp, not directly to the internet. So I find a gear up here and go to settings. And on the settings, there are two settings I need to change. The obvious one is here on proxy, just like you're used to. You go to the proxy and you add a custom proxy, which is 127.0.0.1.80.80, which is Burp. The thing that sort of confused me when I was doing it this morning with a fresh install to try to improve the project, it was refusing to work for Burp, and then I realized it was because of HTTPS. Since Burp is in the middle, all your HTTPS is invalid. And you have to fix that by going to General and turning off HTTPS validation, SSL certificate validation. You have to turn that off, or Postman will refuse to pass through HTTPS. Yes, I find Postman very confusing. Many times I got stuck and had to Google for help. There are parts of the user interface that are very hard to use. Not unlike Burp, really, and developer tools. I think all these web products suffer from the fact that it's just too confusing. Anyway, that's what you have to do to send it through the proxy. And now you should be able to send this request, so I'll send it. And I got a reply saying number already registered, which is fine. The server understood me. So the request worked, such as it is. I just didn't bother to change the data. And here it is in Burp. And you notice the request that came from Postman has user agent Postman. So, this is not coming from the browser, it's coming from Postman, but it worked. The request went in and the response came in and the server understood me. It was forbidden because the user number is already registered, but I could probably make it work by just, say, changing that number. So let's go change some of this number. All right, and now send that. User email already registered. All right, let's change this to demo 2. All right. And let's change the name up here. I don't know if that matters, but I'll change that too. All right, demo 2, send. There we go. User registered successfully. Please log on. So that's the joy of Postman. All right, so now that we know how to build a request, now that was the sign up request. All right, now we need to get the bearer token. Now, this was the only thing you can do without being logged in, is just load the web page and create an account. But now we want to move on to performing authorized activities after you've logged in. So let's go back to Burp and get the authorization token, which sort of thing we've done before. So let's go to the browser that came with Burp. Let me shrink it down. This is a little ridiculous. Okay, and let's log in. I think it was demo 1. At AOL.com and a password. All right, so I log in. Now I'm in. Okay, now I go look in Burp. Here's my login. Okay, request sends up my name and password, and then it has some get requests once I'm in. I just want to look at these requests. This one will work just fine. Getting the dashboard. Notice right here the authorization. Authorization bearer followed by this big blob of base64. That's called a bearer token. This is in fact a Java web token, and it is the proof that you are authorized. So all I have to do is copy that token. That is my authorization. Copy, and I can put that in Postman. So let's go to Postman. Now, what I like to do now is to create a collection, which I've already made one before. I'm just going to make another one, if I can figure out how. Create new collection. There we go. All right, this is going to be demo. All right, and now see, it asks me what kind of authorization are you going to use for your collection? And I want to use bearer token. And the bearer token goes down here. I paste in all that base64 that came from Burp. And now I've got the ability, any request I make inside this collection is going to be authorized. All right, let me just check my instructions to stay on track here. I've added the bearer token. All right, now I want to post to the community in the browser that came with Burp. So that's here. So back to here. Now I'm going to go to community. When you go to community, there are some posts here from people. So I want to make a new post. Let me shrink my font a little. All right, there we go. I'm logged in as demo 1, and I can make a new post. All right. I fill it in with demo. All right. And I add new post. Post created. Okay, so if I look in Burp, there's the post community API v2 community posts. Notice this is a version 2 API, and so is this one, get identity version 2. All right, so I go here and I get, I look at my post request, and it's a lot like the other. It's a post request going with a little JSON containing the title and content. So I want to send that request into Postman. So right, so the way I do that is go to Postman here, and I want to add a new request here, add request, and this is going to be new post, recent posts, I think, or is it recent posts? Community post, okay. I'll call it post. Community post. All right. And if I wanted to duplicate that one, I'd make it, I will duplicate that one. That's one I'm going to make. So I'm going to make it, let me shove this to the side. So hopefully these will both fit more or less in the, yeah, that looks good. Now I go to post. And I need the URL here, so I right-click, copy URL, and paste it in. And now I just need to go to body, and again choose raw and JSON, and then copy in this JSON. Got an extra line there. All right. All right. And now I can send it to see if it works. And it said unauthorized, so that was rude. Oh, and you know why? This happened to me before. This is one of the painful things about Postman. You can test things and they work, but they don't take full effect unless you save them. So when I go here to where I made my, this took me a while to figure out. I put in this token, but it's not saved. You have to hit the save button. And that's not obvious at all. Now the community post, if you go to the authorization tab, it says inherit from the parent. But it won't inherit from the parent unless you remember to save it, which confused me. And on top of that, I haven't saved this request either, which means I can run it now, but it won't run when I make a collection and try to fuzz it later. So you have to get used to hitting these save buttons, even though it doesn't seem to be necessary, it is. So I'll save this, and now send it, and now it works. Now I get the posts that are put up by people because I'm now authenticated. Yes, that was one of the gotchas. Well, every product has these gotchas, you know. It's just because the web is so complicated, I think. Anyway, I found plenty of people online screaming, why is nothing working? And then people said, you have to save things. There's a few gotchas. Anyway, so, all right, so now I was able to make a request, and there's a GET request. Let's do one of them, because that's what you actually need to get the flag here. It's the GET request that gets community recent posts. So let's take a look for that one. If I go to Burp again, there was the post that sent the posts, and I don't see the other one. Let's see what's going on in the browser. Oh, I have to click this OK button. Okay. Now that I click the OK button, the posts appear in the browser, and that will mean, there we are. Here it did the get to profile pic. Here's the recent posts get request. That's what I want to run through Postman also. In fact, you're going to need to have a whole assembly of a lot of these in Postman, so it's fine to get a few. So this is recent posts. So let's put that one in Postman. I go back to the, whoa, jerking around on me. I go back to the start of my collection, and I add a new request. Okay, and this is going to be recent posts. It's a GET request. So all I need is a URL. So I get that from here, right-click, copy URL, and that's it. Now if I run it right now to see if it works, it'll run, and it gives me a bunch of good data down here, so I see that it's working, but I should save it, or I'll be sorry later. So save it. All right, so now I've made a collection, and my collection has got 2 posts in it, and what you can do is you can just surf through the website here in your browser, and then pick the requests that look interesting from Burp and rebuild them in Postman until you have an assembly of things in your Postman collection. And that's what we're going to need for later projects. Anyway, for this one, I think that's it. Let's see. Yep, that's all there is for this one. Just sending a couple requests, getting the authentication right, and so on. So I'm going to stop this one, make a separate video for the next one.